Have you ever wondered why certain teachings in Christianity seem to contradict each other? What if I told you that one of Christianity's most influential figures might be the reason for this confusion? Today, we're diving into the controversial claim, is Paul, revered as a saint and a foundational apostle, actually a false prophet who twisted the true teachings of Jesus? Growing up in church, I rarely heard anyone challenge Paul's teachings. The common belief was that every word in the Bible must be accepted as truth. For any Christian sincerely seeking truth, Jesus' words should take precedence over any apostle's teachings. When we compare their messages, contradictions become undeniable.
I tell you no, but unless you repent, you too will all perish.
For we maintain that a person is justified by faith apart from the works of the law.
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, not the least stroke of a pen, will by any means disappear from the law until everything is accomplished. Therefore anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven.
Therefore we conclude that a man is justified by faith without the deeds of the law.
Why do you ask me about what is good? Jesus replied, there is only one who is good. If you want to enter life, keep the commandments. Which ones? He inquired. Jesus replied, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, honor your father and mother, and love your neighbor as yourself. All these I have kept. The young man said, what do I still lack? Jesus answered, if you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me.
For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast.
Nevertheless, I have this against you. You tolerate that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophet. By her teaching she misleads my servants into sexual immorality and the eating of food sacrificed to idols.
So then, about eating food sacrificed to idols, we know that an idol is nothing at all in the world, and that there is no God but one. But not everyone possesses this knowledge. Some people are still so accustomed to idols that when they eat sacrificial food, they think of it as having been sacrificed to a god. And since their conscience is weak, it is defiled. But food does not bring us near to God. We are no worse if we do not eat, and no better if we do. Be careful, however, that the exercise of your rights does not become a stumbling block to the weak.
Clearly, when comparing the two, Paul is contradicting Jesus' teachings. Paul's teachings were controversial even in his own time.
While Gallio was proconsul of Achaia, the Jews of Corinth made a united attack on Paul and brought him to the place of judgment. This man, they charged, is persuading the people to worship God in ways contrary to the law. When the 7 days were nearly over, some Jews from the province of Asia saw Paul at the temple. They stirred up the whole crowd and seized him, shouting, fellow Israelites, help us. This is the man who teaches everyone, everywhere against our people and our law and this place. You know that everyone in the province of Asia has deserted me, including Phygellus and Hermogenes.
I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked people, that you have tested those who claim to be apostles, but are not, and have found them false.
The contrast is clear. Paul shifts the focus away from Jesus' teachings and onto his own interpretation of salvation. Yet, what is not talked about enough is that we call a man an apostle who never even met Jesus. If a random stranger came to you and told you they used to kill Christians, but now suddenly they follow Jesus, would you take them seriously? This is exactly what Paul expects early Christians to believe. Furthermore, in real life, we have all seen situations where people are trying to get rid of someone without outright saying it. For example, in the workplace. If you dislike a coworker, you can't just tell them to leave. That would cause problems with HR. Instead, you might put them on a meaningless project or assign them to another team just so you don't have to deal with them. Could this be what was happening with Paul? Was he simply given tasks or tolerated rather than truly accepted? At this point, you may wonder, if Paul's teachings contradict Jesus, why are they in the Bible? Jesus himself gives us a clue.
He replied, "Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak to them in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand."
Perhaps allowing Paul's writings serves as a test, separating those who truly seek Jesus' words from those who blindly follow doctrine. So now, I leave you with this question. Are we following Jesus' words or Paul's? Many Christians believe Paul is the foundation of Christianity. If his teachings are in question, it can feel like the entire faith is unstable. But let me assure you, this is not the end of your faith journey. In fact, it's just the beginning. When I started questioning Paul's authority, I was faced with a choice. Do I throw away everything I believe? Or do I seek out the truth of Jesus' teachings, even if they go against mainstream doctrine? Through my journey, I found that Christianity, as it's commonly taught, often ignores or suppresses key aspects of faith and history. These are things that most churches don't talk about, either because they don't know or because they actively reject them. For example, the true historical context of Jesus' teachings, what his Jewish audience actually understood, the role of the Torah and the Old Testament. Was it truly abolished, or are we still supposed to follow it? The lost books of the Bible, why were some books removed and what do they say? What early Christians actually believed before Paul's influence spread. The deeper, mystical teachings of Jesus, the ones that aren't preached in most churches today. This is what led me to my next realization. Christianity, as most people know it today, is not necessarily what Jesus taught, but that doesn't mean the truth is lost. It just means we have to seek it for ourselves. So, if this video made you question Paul, don't stop here. Join me in the next video where I explore the hidden truths of Christianity, things that churches won't tell you. If you want to support this channel and help me make more content, feel free to purchase something from my Etsy store.